feeling in this debate on this particular student loan scheme, exemptions and miscellaneous provisions amendment bill. What a load of drivel we've had to listen to at times. I just want to take a few moments to address some of the concerns that have been raised. We've heard in this House this afternoon concerns that students are having to buy their clothes at op shops. Well, that raised for me some really serious questions. I believe that students actually have an understanding of the cost of their education, their tertiary education, to this country. They certainly understand how much it's costing them, and in many cases costing their parents as well. Now, I can think of some really good examples of young people who in fact are very happy to go and get fantastic bargains from op shops or second-hand clothes shops. In fact, I have a story from close to home, a story about a retro party that is happening tonight in Dunedin at Otago University, and my daughter has purchased a bright orange frock from the op shop, and she is adding that to her bright yellow shoes, so she tells me, and the wonderful pink tights that I sent her away from home with. So there you go. And actually, what is wrong with young people understanding how to get a bargain? In fact, their tertiary education is a bargain because, roughly speaking, they're actually being asked to contribute to about a quarter of the cost. And speaking of bargains, well, I have a story of my own. Prior to becoming an MP, I was walking along an Auckland street and I spotted a gorgeous jacket in a second-hand shop, and I thought, my goodness, I'll just see if that fits me. Lovely jacket, purchased the jacket, wore it for quite some time, again, prior to getting into Parliament. One day I saw a photograph of a very famous person wearing that very same jacket. And it did cross my mind, oh my gosh, did Helen Clark own that jacket before me? Maybe. Who knows? But anyway, we know that for young people attending universities and polytechnics who have student loans, they have to learn how to budget, they have to learn the value of money, and hopefully at the same time they're getting an excellent tertiary education. But this particular bill is simply about maximising the benefit of the Crown's $10.3 billion asset in the student loans. And really we have been getting, and I confess, myself included, we've been getting a little bit off track. We have also heard suggestions that back in 2005 there were words that revealed that the National Party at the time were not keen on Labour's student loan policy. But hang on a minute, times change. And in fact, what we have now is a $10.3 billion investment, and let me repeat again, National's commitment is to having in place a student loan scheme that is balanced, while at the same time putting in place incentives for people to pay off their loan quicker. For young people to get out of debt quicker, what can possibly be wrong with those sorts of levers? What can possibly be wrong with having a fresh-eyed national government look at the student loan scheme, finding ways of improving it and the mechanisms that are used by the Inland Revenue, finding ways of improving it for those who are studying overseas, finding ways of improving it so in fact it continues to function as the student loan scheme was intended to. The National Party is absolutely committed to the importance of tertiary education to build a strong economy. But at the same time, there are settings all around that we have to make sure are correct. And that is why, in fact, the Honourable Peter Dunn has brought this particular bill to the House, and why we're passing it now, and why before very much longer, in fact just shortly after the House meets again, why the time it will be enacted on the 1st of April. So I just want to reiterate the National Party's absolute commitment to having a fresh look at legislation, a fresh look that in fact I've heard has meant that the ministers are competing against each other. They have so many bills they want to bring to the House to make New Zealand a much more productive economy, to make New Zealand a better place to live in, and in the hope that our tertiary educated students continue to live here and be productive people in our economy. And I'm certainly looking forward to and hoping that means our three daughters get that message and stay here in New Zealand and bring up their grandchildren close to me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chris Hipkin.